Welcome, welcome, one and all. Welcome to the St. Patrick's Day Adobe Express live lesson with your host, Dom Trainer. Plastic Paddy, got the Irish passport. You know me. Love being a bit in someone else's team for a while. Right, let's get a proper background on. Yeah, St. Patrick's Day. Magic. Okay, cool. Right, before we get going, let's go through a few ground rules. First one. Make sure you've got Adobe Express open. You're going to need that on St. Patrick's Day in order to make some St. Patrick's Day artifacts, digital assets, those kind of things. Activity page, you'll need that for today. There's lots of information on there on the scrolly, adobe.ly/SPD St. Patrick's Day 2026, SPD 2026. Make sure you've got that open as well. There's lots of info on there that you'll need. Also, teachers, if you haven't registered yet, at 4 o'clock, I'm going to be sending out certificates. So you're going to need those to give out to your lovely learners. So please do register for this so that we can send those out to you. Okay, let's have a look at the activity page. Bosh. There we go. Right. So the link is on there, adobe.ly/SPD 2026. And you can scan the QR code if you're on an iPad, and it will bring you through to this page. Fantastic. Okay, so what are we going to do in today's session? Ooh, look at that. Activity 1 is going to be a St. Patrick's Day infographic. There we go. Just get it down there. Nice. Create an infographic with 4 key facts about St. Patrick. Use the research below or find your own. You're more than welcome to get your own stuff. You might have been studying it in school. You might have things which are far more interesting than the ones that I've put in here. But we're going to be creating an infographic that looks a little bit like the one on the right-hand side of the screen right now. Okay, how are we going to get started? Well, it's going to be easy enough. What we're going to do is, let me get it open, share this tab. We're going to start off by going to create a poster. That's where you should be. You should have Express open. I'm presuming you have. Give it a click. Okie dokie. First thing to do is SPD 2026, St. Patrick's Day 2026. I'll always find it then. I'll never not know where it is, unless you might want to actually put Patrick in there, because then that might be a keyword you search for if you want to find it later. Okay, how are we going to start? Well, on the left-hand side, you'll see the Add Content button. Go over there, look at the flyout menu there, and go down to Elements. Let's get ourselves a nice background. So let's go into Backgrounds, search backgrounds. I mean, you can search Ireland, something like that. You get lots of lovely things coming up here. I mean, this one is probably the one I'm going to go for. I've used it before, although this one's good as well, actually. What I always say about backgrounds is you kind of want them to, you don't want them to be particularly busy. I think I just about got away with using this one, but I think this one's probably slightly better. So there we go. Get yourself a background. That is your first thing. Not quite sure what that slice of pizza has got to do with St. Patrick, but hey, who am I to judge? Who knows? Right, that's going to be my background. You choose one of your own. Right, next thing I'm going to do is put a nice big header across the top. So I'm going to go to T for text, add your text, and I'm going to go for St. Patrick's Day. Okay. Now, in terms of font, what kind of font should I go for? I think I've been getting quite into Dynapuff at the moment. So in here, I think I'll go Dynapuff. There we go. St. Patrick's Day. It's got a few different versions. The bold one is probably the one I'll go for. Nice. As with all text that I ever do on any live lesson, let's go to text layouts and make it dynamic, which just means it's always going to stay in a lovely box. It's always going to capitalize it for you. So it's kind of a lazy way to make everything capitalized as well. Put it right in the middle there. You see that pink line going straight down the middle? That means it's beautifully centered. Okay, now that isn't looking particularly good in terms of color and just wowness and things like that. So here we're going to go to effects and we're going to start off straight out the bat we are going to go to generate text effects. Click that pencil there. Just try describing a texture. Stained glass. I'm going to put green and blue. Stained glass. And maybe style realistic. I don't know. Maybe let's try embellished. Well, let's try it. I mean, what have we got to lose? Click generate, and let's see what it's going to do for us. I often find that the generating text effects can be it's a test of patience, and what you'll see is kind of now that one's pretty good. Trying to do stained glass like the kind you might see in a church. Number 3 and number 4 is pretty good. I wonder what would happen if I changed it to realistic and went generate again, because maybe that would give us a more classic kind of stained glass effect. Although I must say that Dynapuff that I have chosen isn't quite the classic church style stained glass font, but you can choose one. I like that one. I like number 4. That's pretty good. I like that. So I'm going to let it load and do its thing, which is pretty cool. And then I'll go back in here. Oh, look at that. Lovely. Go to edit. And I think if I put an outline color on this, yes, nice. I like that. So I've just gone to this box here and put an outline color on that, just to help it stand off the page. And then you can also change the outline thickness as well. St. Patrick's Day, nice. Do you want it to be that big? Maybe not. Maybe, yeah, maybe around 50, something like that. But you choose. It's up to you. Right, that is looking good for me. I could also go into effects and put a little glow on it, maybe. Ooh. Now, it's this shadow color that you want to be using here. So you could try, oh, I like that. I like the yellow. The orange could be good. That ties in with that St. Patrick's Day. You know, there's a lot of orange. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Very cool. You could go into custom here and change the distance. Ooh, hello. I mean, that's miles away now. But you can increase the distance, which is cool. You can also, you know, affect the blur and things like that. I'm going to keep that pretty low, I think. There we go. Lovely. I mean, the angle you can change as well. Around the top, you see, just go something like that, I think is cool. Alrighty, have a little play with that. See what you think. Okay, now that that's done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to add content again, elements, and then I'll go to shapes. I'll go to rectangles, view all. And I'm just going to go for I'm just going for a square. That's absolutely fine. Right. What I want to do with this is I want to have it as a shape that goes all the way from the top. Let me just zoom out a bit. All the way from the top, right down to the bottom. There we go. Nice. Now that that's done, it's obviously in front of my text. That's no good. So on the right-hand side here, in your layer stack, you want to be clicking, dragging underneath. Good. And then I'm going to change the color of this shape. So over here on the left-hand side, if you can't see this box, it's probably because you've clicked off your shape. Click back on it, and this will come up on the left-hand side. Fill color, and it could do an orange. Yeah, it could do an orange. That's pretty cool. Green, slightly brighter green, or slightly, ooh, I like that. I think I like that one there. That's cool. I can change that later. You know how to change those things. Just click on them, click the buttons. You know what to do. Okay, so I've got that there. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to kind of build the structure of this page before I start putting in content. And what I'm going to do is, if I go back to this tab, I've said create an infographic with 4 key facts about St. Patrick. So 4 is good. I've put 4 in here. You can use these 4. You can use different ones that you've done research on, whatever you like. But I'm going to use these four here, right? For iPad users, as always, you're welcome. I've put a text for iPad users in there. If you click that, it will open up this tab, and you see you've got the four sections which you're going to copy at some point. You'll do that whenever you like. But I'm going to do it from here for now, okay, because I'm on the browser. Okay, so you can see in my example here, what I've done is I've kind of created this four shapes down here, which I put pictures in, okay? So let me go back to my graphic. There we go. And let me go add content, elements, and I've got rectangles here, so I'm going to back out of that by using the arrow. Let's go to circles, and let's go to this one here. Okay, so it's given me that circle in the green again. Do I like that? What would happen if it was? Yeah, that's kind of cool. Kind of like the yellow, I think. Maybe I'm getting a bit too adventurous with my colors. I don't know. But you can have a little play around. So I've got one in there. In terms of size, you're going to have to play around with this a bit, right? I want it to be centered all the way down that column that I've created. So I'm going to make sure that that pink, purple, pink, neon pink line comes up there. I'm going to do one, duplicate it, drag it down. Where are they going to go? Around about, I don't know, around about there maybe. Duplicate again, bring it down. Around about there. If I zoom in here, you can see that the space between the top two is that little kind of straight line there. So if I try and match that, it's going to be around about there. And then have I got space for one more? Perhaps not. No, I haven't. So what I'm going to have to do here is, this will take a little bit of playing around. So do that. Make sure you do the work now. Roughly around about there. Just got to make sure you've got enough to get all four shapes on the same place. And you can use the lines to make sure that they're pretty much all the same size. Around about there. Nice. And then this last one, bring it in. It's aligned on the left-hand side. Bring it in. It's aligned on the right-hand side. Move it up. Yeah, we've roughly got enough space there. Put it right in the center. Come on, you can do it. So there's a little bit of playing around to do there. And then you can just tap one and nudge it down. Tap one, nudge it down. Until they're roughly the same shape. Don't spend all day on it. But you know, you can see what we're trying to do here. So we've got four kind of circles where we're going to be putting pictures in. Going to put circle pictures in each one of these inside. So it gives it a nice little border. Okay, so let's go back to our activity page. Okay, March 17th is celebrated throughout the world as St. Patrick's Day in honor of the missionary who helped spread Christianity throughout Ireland. So I need to go and find a picture of your man, Patrick. So I'm going to go to add content, media, photos, search photos, St. Patrick. Okay, what have we got? So let me see. If I put St. Patrick, I'm sure there was one in here. Maybe not. Okay, right. So what are we going to do here? If we can't find one in the stock library down here, which we clearly can't, why don't we generate one? So generate image. Let's go for a square, because then that'll be easy to crop into a circle. Let's go to square. And in terms of what my prompt is going to be in here, I think I'm looking for inspiration from, let's have a look. Where am I again? Show this tab. I said, oh, let me make sure that I've shown you exactly. I think I was on the wrong tab there. So I want to put in the picture of St. Patrick. I tried to find one in media. I put St. Patrick in, didn't really find anything. I wonder actually if we went to elements, go to all and put St. Patrick in here, whether there be anything, design assets. Nope, nothing there either. So again, what we're going to do is go to add content media and go to generate image and go to square. Right, let's make it nice and big. So I'm going to put a prompt in here. Okay, the kind of prompt I'm going to go for is something like this one here. Okay, stained glass of a man with a long white beard wearing a white robe with a green surplice and gold edging and a green mitre. So the surplice is the kind of thing that goes on top of his robe. Okay, if we look at this picture here, you can kind of see the surplice here. And then I've gone for a mitre, which is a type of hat that like a saint would wear, for example. You can keep it pretty simple if you want. This is the kind of thing I'm going for, looking for something like this. Okay, so let's go back to our, where are we again? Here, let's go back to our page. Stained glass of a man with a long white beard wearing a white robe with a green surplice with gold edging and a green mitre. It could be stained glass of a saint. Like if you wanted a really small prompt, you could just do stained glass of a saint. That would be easy. I'm sure you'd be able to type that into box. But if you want to go further, you've got things like green surplice. I think that's how you say it, with gold edging and a green mitre. So let's go to generate and see what we get. And don't forget to do it as a square, because then you can always just crop it into a circle very easily. Now, let me put something on the page for you. Stained glass of a male saint. You could also put something like that on. Stained glass of a male saint. Where's it gone? Not on the ticker. Hide. Let's go scroll across. Stained glass of a saint. We always do that. There we go. Stained glass of a saint. Something like that. Hey, that's pretty good. I like that. That's pretty good. And that's pretty good. And that's pretty good. Amazing. I think I'll go for this one, I think. I like that. I like the fact it's got that kind of circle behind. This one's pretty good as well, though. I'm spoiled for choice. I'm going to go crop and circle. Done. There we go. Nice. Let me just do that again and see what comes up if I go generate image, square, and just put stained glass of a male saint. Something like that. Let's go to generate and see what we get there. See if it's actually any better or worse or not as specific. I think it probably is going to give all male saints a white beard, but I'm guessing. Who knows? Let's see what it's going to give us. See if it's any better than the one I've got already under there. Stained glass of a saint, of a male saint. Come on, you can do it. Come on, Firefly. Oh, there you go. It didn't have a beard, and the colors were slightly different. So, you know, putting the colors in there is going to work. Let me delete that one. This is the one I like. Spend a little bit of time on your prompt. So I'm just using the corners here to get it into roughly the position like there. Nice. You can see where it's got the crosshairs. That means it's perfectly positioned within that circle. Nice work. Okay. What are we going to go for next? Well, if I go back to the activity page, here we go. The next one is details surrounding St. Patrick's life are hard to pin down, but he was likely born around 387 Anno Domini and died around 460 Anno Domini. Right, now you can see in here, I've got St. Patrick's gravestone here. I'm pretty sure we're going to have to go and get that from the Google. So let me just share my tab, add content media, because I did search for St. Patrick before. So if I go St. Patrick, if I go into St. Patrick and St. Patrick's gravestone, am I going to get that? No, we didn't find anything. Let me go and put St. Patrick gravestone. No, we didn't find anything. Okay, fine. No problem. So what we're going to do here is you can go to Google in here, and I'll go to St. Patrick's gravestone. St. Patrick gravestone. Okay, if you go to images, nice. Okay, so what are we going to do here? Now, because you're using it for fair educational use, non-commercial use, and you're in an education setting, you can make it as easy for yourselves as opening up one like this, right-clicking on it, and copy image. That's all you need to do. Right-click on it, copy image, or on an iPad, you would long press and then save image or copy image. And then you can go back to your tab here, and then right click or long press on an iPad in the gray, select paste. Nice, you see, go straight in, easy peasy. And again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to crop, and I'm going to go to circle, and I'm going to go to done. Nice. So I'm going to get it roughly the same size as what I've got above. Not going to spend too long, as long as it's roughly the same size. It is slightly smaller there, so let's make it around about there. And yeah, that's perfect. Okay, nicely done. Now, if you're like, getting it from Google is too much of a faff, don't worry about that. You can, let me just move that out of the way. You could go to add content, elements, and you could go to icons, and you could go to gravestone. And, you know, something like this is absolutely fine. You know, something like this. Great. Put that in there. Why not? Keep it simple. Nothing wrong with that. You can change the color of it as well. Maybe give them a nice orange one. Green might be good, actually. But you decide. Or you can go to a nice gray, something like that. It's totally up to you. You can use an icon, or you can go to Google and get yourself an image and then crop it into a cycle. Okay, let's stick it in there. Got the crosshairs again. That's nice. Oh, there we go. So I've got my gravestone in there. Okay, next one. I've got in Patrick's book, Confessio, he writes that when he was captured by pirates at 16 from his home, writes that. I shouldn't have when in there. I need to take that out. He writes that he was captured by Irish pirates at 16 from his home in Roman Britain, actually Wales, and taken as a slave to Ireland. Right, this is fun. So what I did on mine was I did a parrot here, so that was quite good fun. So let's go here. I'm going to go to add content. I go to elements. I can go design assets, and I can go to parrot. Nice. Or maybe like, what did I do last time? I think, well, let's go to add content media. Search photos, parrot, pirate. Okay. I do see if I just put pirate in. We've got all sorts of stuff. So you could put a pirate ship in there. That'd be quite cool. But I wanted to put the parrot in there because, so I think I'll go to elements, design assets, parrot. And I'm looking for one that is, you know, has got a pirate hat on, I suppose. You won't get loads of them. I think there's only the one right at the start. So that'll do. There we go. Stick him in there. Looking good. Okay. Let's bring that down. I can bring it. Doesn't matter. It's overlapping. I think that's great. And then I'm going to leave a little bit of space for my speech bubble. I'll do the speech bubble now, but I'll do the text later, I think. Let's go to add content elements. Go to all speech bubble. Okay. Now, if you get it from shapes, right, you'll be able to crop it. Well, not crop it. You'll be able to resize it and scale it and all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to go, let me view all in shapes. I think I'm going to go for, what kind I'm going to, I think I'll go for a kind of rounded square, a squircle. Right, that's going to go in there. Click that, build color, create. And then I'll spin it around, I think, so that it looks like it's coming out of Mr. Parrot's mouth, or Mrs. Parrot even. Stick it there. And that's the thing, if you get it from shapes, you'll be able to stretch these boxes out, make them a little bit thinner, that kind of thing. Gives you a bit more control. Also put on an angle so it's coming right out of his mouth. I'm going to put, he was Welsh. And then my last section here is all about St. Patrick's clover, shamrock. The three-leafed plant traditionally used by St. Patrick to explain the Holy Trinity. It represents faith, hope, and love, or the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. So let's go and get ourselves add content, elements. Let's go to all. I'll go for clover. Now, what you'll get with clover is you'll get a lot of four-leafed clovers, which actually I don't want, because St. Patrick used a three-leafed clover, a normal clover, because that would represent the Trinity. So let's get one like that. Now, it comes in pretty small. Don't confuse it. Right. Now, stick it in there. Now, the color of this isn't really popping off the page. Right. It's not really popping off the page. Let's stick it on a bit more of an angle. Make it a bit bigger. Yeah, nice. So there we go. Stick it there. Go to effects. Now, if you give it a, you can have a look through these. Color punch is quite a good one. You can open it up again and then go to like intensity. That isn't really changing anything. View all Photoshop filters. Anything better? Radiance. I think I'm going to, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go color punch, right? And then with it selected, go to the three dots up here, duplicate. I've got two of them now, right? And on this one in the effects, I'll go to portrait maybe. And I'll make sure that the one I've just made into portrait is underneath my color punch filter. Yeah. And then maybe bring up the intensity of that. So it kind of gives it like a sort of shadow, I suppose. Yeah, nice. I might play around with where it sits. I'm just going to click, and so I can put it directly behind and then use, slight adjustments with my keyboard or with the iPad. You have to kind of really be careful with that one. But you could also put a shadow on it as well. Put a classic shadow. There you go. So you're going to got 3 layers on it now. You can go to a custom, change the shadow to a white. Ooh, nice. That's nice. I like that. And then maybe you can make it even bigger. Just play around with it just to kind of make it sit off the page a little bit. Okay. So I've got my 4 images to represent, or icons, or whatever you've got, design assets to represent the kind of information I'm going to give about St. Patrick. And now it's time to get some of the text in there. So let's go back in here. Don't forget, if you're on an iPad, you can click this one here, text for iPad users. And I'm going to click and drag and get all of this text and do Control and C on my keyboard. Or if you're on an iPad, click, you press, long hold, and then just move those little, what are they called? Lollipops. I don't know, blue lollipops that are on there. Copy that text. And then I can go back in here, add some text. You go to add text, add your text. Now it's giving me Dynapuff again. I'm just going to paste in my text, okay, so that I've got it. But I don't feel like this is the clearest font in the world. Right? I don't mind it for a title, but I'm going to go to edit, and I'm just going to go boring. Source Sans, yeah, Source Sans Pro. It's going to go that. Right. Now it's regular. I could go to bold. That's a bit better. But I think in terms of color, I'm going to go to white text. But then I'm going to give it an outline color of black, I think. and that'll help it stand off the page. Now, if I make the outline thickness a little bit bigger, well, that's pretty cool. Now, I want this to go next to my sort of St. Patrick's picture. Now, so I'm going to stretch it out until I feel like it's roughly, let's use the minus button. Oh, dear, oh dear. Because I had a little bit of text selected, it changed just the size of that little bit of text, which was not good. Now that I've got it all selected, go down, bring that across. You see, it's saying that is horizontally aligned with my picture of St. Paddy. Okay, great. Now, to try and make that stand off the page a little bit more, with it selected, what you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to go to Effects, go down to Shape and View All, and I think that you choose what you want. But I thought this one was quite cool. You can click it again in the sliders there. You can see the sliders. Click that again. And then I'm going to go Shape Color. I'm going to go to the orange. Nice. I like that. I can also change the shape size. It's a bit bigger. Nice. Maybe even bigger again. No, maybe not. Okay, but shape opacity I'm going to bring down slightly. Just want it to have like a glow of orange rather than it dominating. And also, I think I'm just going to nudge it over there. Okay, so it kind of, the arrow just tips on to St. Patrick there, but doesn't take away from the picture. Nice. Okay, now that I've done that once, you know the trick. Go to Duplicate at the top with it selected. Bring this down. Pop this one in the same sort of place. Where's the middle? It's not there. It is. There's the middle. Now we're going to put different text in here, so this is going to change. It's going to change the shape of the box, but just put it in that position to start with. Okay, that's a good place to start. And then I can go back here. Second one, details surrounding St. Patrick's life are hard to pin down, but he was likely born around 387 AD and died about 460 AD. What does that make him? That makes him 73, a ripe old age back in the day. Let's go back here. Now that I've copied that new piece of text, I can triple click in here, paste it in, and you can see that it's kind of stretching off the page. So I just need to bring that box in. Yeah, that's good. I kind of want the shape to go off the page as well, though. What will I do? I mean, I'm not too worried. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. But maybe I want to bring the text up, actually. Yeah, maybe. And then, yeah, I'm struggling a little bit there. That's okay. That's all right. That'll do. That works nicely. That's worked out well. Okay, but just have a little play around. You might need to change the size of the text. Not every single one of these boxes needs to be the same size. The text doesn't need to be the same size, but keep it roughly the same. That's what I would say. Okay, select again, duplicate, bring it down to here. Okay, that is nicely aligned. I can see all my lines lining up, which is good. So put that in there. Go back to our third one. In Patrick's book, Confessio, he writes that when he was captured by Irish pirates at 16 from his home in Roman Britain, actually Wales, and taken as a slave to Ireland. Now, this when that I put in here, you shouldn't have that. But what I'll do is I'll triple click in here, paste, and then I'll just delete when. There we go. Now, I want to make sure that this goes on to 4 lines like all the others. Let's make sure that it's in the right position again. There you go. Nicely aligned. Cool. That works for me. If I bring that box in ever so slightly, yeah, that works. Nicely sort of balanced there on 4 lines. That's cool. And then last but not least, click, duplicate, bring it down, align it up. Yeah, nice. And then I need to go back to my page, or you can go to the activity page if you're on the browser. The St. Patrick's clover or shamrock is a 3-leafed plant traditionally used by St. Patrick to explain the Holy Trinity. It represents faith, love, and hope. Okay, triple click, boop, boop, boop. Paste. Ooh, lots of text here. So here I might just bring this down. It's on 4 lines now. And what I have noticed is that actually my spacing isn't very good here, is it? Look, there's a big gap here compared to this gap here. What am I going to do about that? Probably what I'm going to do is click my parrot, bring him down. Click my circle, bring it down. That's a bit better. Click my speech bubble, bring it down. So it's just coming out the beak. And is this centered? There we go. That's centered. That's a bit better now. It's not perfect. This one still needs to come down as well. Click 1, 2, 3, 4. Click 1, 2, 3, 4. Click 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's a bit better. It's not perfect, but that's okay. Right. So there we go. We got 4 St. Patrick's Day facts. We've got 4 images, icons, design assets, things like that. But the last thing I need to do is get this parrot saying something about Patrick was Welsh. So let's go to add text, add your text. And then I go like Paddy was Welsh. Welsh. Shh. Something like that. It's just a bit of fun. All right, let's bring it in. It's only really, I've only done this for Meredith really, because he kept on saying to you, you must tell them that St. Patrick was actually Welsh. And I was like, no problem, just give me a chance and I will. Right, if you want to, you can make this box go a bit slimmer. Bring down, there we go. Bring down the font size. That's okay. There we go. Stick it in there. And then in terms of font, I'm going to put hand, and you'll see you got handwriting. If I open this one up, I think I'll go for Tiffany. Yes, that works well. So I could make this box even kind of narrower, and then click my speech bubble. Bring that down, maybe bring it across, bring my text, bring it across. So now that, nice one. There you go. Nice. That's perfect. Okay, really happy with that. Really happy with where that has ended up. Let me take stained glass of the saint off. You don't need to see that anymore. Okay. So as always, once you've created your, one thing I will do is I'm going to click the shape, that column that's going. I'm going to duplicate it. Got another one now, right? I'm going to rotate it until it's 90 degrees, bring it up to the top, put it behind St. Patrick there, because I thought, you know what, it's quite a cool little trick, because it's like you've got a kind of cross at the top of the page, which is quite appropriate for Mr. P. There we go. There we go. So there's lots of little references there. You've got the clover background. You've got all your icons. You've got that kind of cross, which is keeping all your icons or photos in a nice straight line. And you've got it across the top. And that is a perfect little St. Patrick's Day with generative AI stained glass title. Nice work. Okay. You can download it by clicking here. Lovely. And then press download. You can do that whenever you like. It'll download to your computer, or you can click share. And you have the option to add people, like your teacher, maybe if that's how they're getting you to send the work in. You can do to view only link. You can send it to Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, however you like. All righty. Good work, everyone. Right. Let's go back to our activity page. Nice. Activity 2, present a St. Patrick's Day video. Use the self-record video function to create a professional broadcast. That's what we're doing today. Now, if you're not in a position to use the self-record video function, I think everybody should be. But if you feel like a voiceover would be better, it's okay as well. That's totally fine. So the title of our video, or the one that I'm doing at least, is going to be Key St. Patrick's Day Facts. Copy that. I've copied it, right? Let's go to the let's go back to our Adobe Express. Let's go to the A in the top left. Click that. And then let's go to create a video. Okay. So let's get rid of some of this stuff. Didn't know that. Let's go to untitled. I'm going to triple click in here and paste in key St. Patrick's Day facts. That's my title. Nicely done. Then in terms of your first scene here, I'm going to go to add content backgrounds. There we go. I go, what if I put St. Patrick, what's going to come up? Oh yeah, that's cool. Oh, there's even stuff that's got like text in there. I'm going to say no to that. I'm going to say no to the stuff with text. But I think I am going to say yes to that. Check that out. Beautiful. Love it. That is pretty cool. I wonder if I put add content, media, videos and put St. Patrick. I wonder what I'd get up there. I'd do the glasses, maybe. Everyone's wearing glasses. That one's Lucky Coins. That one got any movement on it whatsoever? That has got a bit of movement on it. There we go. There's someone. You've got lots of cool things that you can do here. Cats wearing clovers. Yeah, but have a look through. That could be a cool way to do it. I mean, that one's quite cool as well. There's some strange ones and there's some cool ones. Yeah, the ones with text on them, I'm going to leave alone, I think. I don't want to do that one necessarily. This one's cool. You're going to put add as a layer on canvas, and then I'll go to fill video. And I can actually get rid of that background. Don't need it. Because that's kind of a cool background for your key St. Patrick's Day facts text that you're going to put on the screen. Okay, so let me go to text, add your text, paste it in because you had it before. Now there's not a lot of good things about that so far. So let's go to text layouts. Let's make it dynamic. Recommended fonts. Is there anything in here which I like? Don't you know? Do you know what? I think just Dynapuff is the one I'm going to go for. And Dynapuff bold, yeah, why not? And then maybe make it quite big. Key St. Patrick's Day facts. Right. This black is, I know you don't think it's working. I don't think it's working either. Right. But I wanted to go to effects and then generate text effects again. And then describing a texture. Let's go rainbow. Rainbow. And then realistic. Do I want realistic? Yeah, let's keep it realistic and go generate. And also what I'm going to do with this piece of text here is I'm going to animate it in. I haven't quite decided how I'm going to animate it yet, but I am going to animate it in. Yeah, nice. That's cool. I mean, I think the first one works for me, so I'm going to keep it on there. That's cool. And then I'll go to text and edit. Let's give it a little outline. Maybe, no, maybe not. The white, I think it needs to be white. And I think I'll make the outline thickness a little bit thicker. Nice. Happy with that. I don't want it to be too big, I suppose. I mean, what would it be like if I put the green on it? No, that's making me slightly queasy. I think I'll keep it white. Bit chunky. Yeah, well, that'll do. And then go to animation. And then how do I want it to come in? Spin, tumble, scale, rise. Yeah, rise in. Key St. Patrick's Day facts. Okay, maybe the speed, I think make it a bit like 1.5. Yeah, that's a bit quicker. Nice. And then when it's in there, what loop am I going to do? Whoa. Mental. Wind, no. Flicker. I think maybe something like a flicker would be good. Wiggle. I don't know. I think a flicker would be better. Blinking. I think blinking is better. I'm going to go for blinking. Loop duration, a second. Okay. And let's say yes to all of that. So play it, rises in, and then there's kind of like a little flicker. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, press pause on there. Now this is your playhead. Yeah. So you're going to bring it back to the start. Let's go to add content, media. You can go to music and then record voiceover. So I'm going to do a voiceover for the first one. After that, we're going to try some self-recorded video. So let's go to record voiceover. Microphone, I've got one here, so I'll put that on. Now you're in a busy classroom, so you need the enhanced speech button, the greatest invention since the classroom began. It means that you can all record at the same time. It'll only get your voice. It's incredible. Let's go to start recording. Key St. Patrick's Day facts. There we go. Nice. I don't press, when I press play or when I press record, make sure I've got a little gap at the start, and at the end, I make sure I've got a little gap too. You don't want it to kind of completely kind of, cut off too early or start too late or anything like that. So let's bring this back to the start. Key St. Patrick's Day facts. Oh, nice. I like that. That's cool. And I think I will roughly finish my scene around about there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click at the end and then drag it in till roughly it hits the playhead. There we go. Key St. Patrick's Day facts. Okay, we're definitely going to need some music on this, but I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to do that when I'm ready. Let's go here. Okay, let's grab this text here. St. Patrick wasn't Irish, born in Roden, Britain, likely in Wales. He was kidnapped by, likely in South Wales, actually. He was kidnapped by Irish pirates at 16, brought to Ireland as a slave before escaping, only to return later as a missionary. I'm going to copy all of that. If you're here, you get it from here. I'm going to copy all of that. Okay, copy. Let's go back here, share this tab instead. I'm going to press the plus down here to add a blank scene. Then what am I going to do? Right, well, this is about him getting captured on a pirate ship. Okay, so I'm going to go to add content, media, videos, search videos, pirates. Haha. Okay. Now I like this second one. It's probably the only one I've actually seen which thought was any good. I mean, you can go for this one as well. Go for whatever you like. But that one's good. Oh yeah, that is nice. Add as a layer on canvas. Yes. Now, if sometimes what happens is some videos aren't quite the same size of the canvas, and so they might have little lines top and bottom. If you do have that, just click fill video. That'll make that that'll get rid of those white lines, but you don't need to worry about that here. There we go. Oh, that is so cool. I love that. What is that? Looks like it's AI generated or something. Cool. Let's go to T for text, add your text, pop it in there. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick it here, because I'm going to use this as my I'm going to use it as my script, I suppose. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my playhead back to the start of the scene, okay? And then I'm going to go to add content, media, and I'm going to go to videos and record yourself. This one here, record yourself. Click it, and you can see that I've got my self-recorded video kind of preview screen. You can move that around if you need to, but crucially, I've got my text here, so I can just read it off the screen. It's dead easy. Let's go for start recording. Let me make sure I look Presentable. Oh, yes, good, ready. Okay, start recording. Oh, and the other thing is, I'm probably going to not say this first line, St. Patrick wasn't Irish. I'm not going to say that because I'm going to have that text on screen. I'm just going to read from Born in Roman Britain, okay? Born in Roman Britain, likely in Wales, he was kidnapped by Irish pirates at age 16 and brought to Ireland as a slave before escaping, only to return later as a missionary. That's my best news presenter voice, and looking very serious, not bobbing around on camera. Don't want to be doing any of that. Right, that's uploading. Now, what I will do with this, I think, is go to crop, just while I'm waiting for it to load, and I'll crop it into a circle. Nice, and then click done. Because then I don't want myself dominating this amazing video that I've got in the background. So I'll pop myself over here, I think. And then with this text here, I'm going to click next to Irish. You can see where I've clicked in here. And then I'm going to drag down and I'm going to delete that. Didn't need it because I'm using my voiceover to explain all the rest of it. And maybe what I'll do is I'll turn the text color to white, and then I'll bring this box down here. And then if I click off, I want to bring this box down. There we go. And then I'll pop it there. And maybe I'll put it there, or maybe I'll put it there. Not quite sure. I mean, maybe we could generate a text effect here. I don't know. Let's go to effects. If I go to generate, describe a texture. I don't know. Is pirate a texture? Probably not. Let's see what it comes up with. I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe it'll be like crimson reds and things like that. Velvet. Always seems to be, pirates always seem to be wearing things like that. Oh, skull and crossbones. Get in there. Yes, I wasn't expecting that. I think I want mine gold encrusted though. Thank you very much. Yeah, nice. Look at that one. It's got like a pirate's hat. It's got skulls on there. Yeah, great. That is, I was not expecting that, but that has worked out beautifully. Okay, cool. Got that there. And going back out of that, I'll go to edit. I'll put a little outline on it. I'll beef up the outline thickness. There we go. That pops off the page. Hey, another thing you could do with your video is you could click it, go to effects, maybe put like, make it like spooky, grayscale, view all. What have we got here? Or, you know, maybe like sorbet or slate or brushwood. No, that's not frightening enough. The sorbet one's good. Violet. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. Marigold. Yeah. Tangerine. I like the marigold the best. That one's good. Right. I'm going to play this. Let's see how it goes. Born in Roman Britain, likely in Wales, he was kidnapped by Irish pirates at age 16 and brought to Ireland as a slave before. Oh, now look at that. What happened? This is interesting. So my video, my pirate video, is not long enough to cope with my voiceover. Does that make sense? So the only thing that I can do here is, because if I try and stretch out my video, you can see it disappears. So that's no good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slow the speed down. You see over the left-hand side here, slow the speed to 50%. Born in Roman Britain, nice. Likely in Wales, he was kidnapped by Irish pirates at age 16 and brought to Ireland as a slave before escaping, only to return later as a missionary. Right. So now I've also got some work to do here as a missionary. Right. So I can see myself saying missionary. Finish there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that video clip in to where my playhead is. Now that's a beautiful scene. Age 16 and brought to Ireland as a slave before escaping, only to return later as a missionary. Nice. Yes, like that a lot. Okay, press the plus, add a blank scene. let's go and find some other text. What's the next one? So I'm just going to do 4. You can decide which one you want to do. I think no snakes in Ireland. So yeah, the legend that St. Patrick drove snakes out of Ireland is a metaphor for converting pagans to Christianity. Well, that was really interesting, because I always thought, gosh, my grandma used to say to me, oh, St. Patrick drove the snakes out of Ireland. But it was only a metaphor, because like a way of thinking, you know, a way to describe converting pagans to Christianity. So that was quite cool. And also snakes is great in it. You always have fun with snakes. So I'm going to grab all of this text, copy text. I'm going to go back in here. What shall I do? I shall go to text, add your text, paste it in. No snakes in Ireland. Okay. So this will be good for my voiceover. So I'm going to leave it all in there. But then for my background video, let's go to media, videos, snakes. I want loads of snakes. That's what I want. I want like a den of just millions of snakes. Am I going to find that? That's what I was hoping for. There's all sorts of weird stuff in here. Snake. Might have put snake pit. Snake pit. No. But snakes. Let's see what I get. I might have to go and looking through. What am I going to find? Show the snakes out of Ireland. I was hoping for loads of snakes. These videos are disappointing me. I'm not going to lie. Maybe I'll just go for the meanest looking snake. Oh, yeah, that one's good, actually. There's a lot of movement on it. That second one. There's a lot of movement in there, so I'm liking that. So I'll click that one, add as a layer on your canvas, boom. It's on top of my text. Don't need that, no thanks. So I'll pop that there. Can't really read that text right now. Text color white. That's not that readable either. Readable enough. Maybe I'll just put an outline color on it just for a second, so I can read it when I'm doing my what am I called? When I'm doing my self-record video. Yeah. If I want to make it bigger, I can. There you go. So now I'm going to go to add content, media, record yourself in videos. So you're in videos there. Go to record yourself. Okay. Hello, everybody. So I'm just going to read off the screen. Again, make sure that you're not bobbing and weaving all over the place. Don't want to be doing that. And start recording. The legend that St. Patrick drove snakes out of Ireland is a metaphor for converting pagans to Christianity. There you go. Save recording. Boom. So here, again, what I want to do with this is I want to crop myself to a circle. Done. Let it process. Maybe this time I'll pop myself. Maybe I'll always be bottom right. I don't know. Yeah, that one's kind of nicely kind of in the corner there. Maybe I'll do the same here. Although, oops. Oh, made a boo-boo. Press the back button quick. Cool. Click my video. Maybe I'll put myself top right this time. And then maybe this text this time will be no snakes in Ireland. Click next to Ireland, drag down, press delete, and then I'll bring this one down here. Now, I know what you're thinking. Have you got a capital S for snakes? Yeah, I did. Sorry. No snakes in Ireland. Maybe I could make this nice and big. And then with this one, go to effects again, generate text effect, snake. Yeah, it's going to do snake skin. Bet you it's going to do snake skin. It's going to be good. I'm going to like this. I could also go to video here, effects, and maybe go to view all, and maybe I'll put like, no. No snakes in Ireland. These ones aren't, I'm not enjoying these as much. Marigold again, tangerine, nah, none of these are really working. slate, mahogany, sorbet. No, I don't actually think that the video is kind of popping enough to make it worthwhile. But I like the snake skin down here. It's cool. That one's pretty cool as well. Yeah, I'm gonna go for the second one. Could have put green. Could have put green snake skin or something like that. You play around with your prompts and see what you think. Nice, no snakes in Ireland. But you see, it's got a black outline on it. I think I'll put a white outline on it. You go to edit, change that outline color to white. Yeah, that'll do. Or it could be green actually. Yeah, that's good. It kind of matches the grass. Yeah, I'll do that. That works. Okay, let's have a little look, make sure this is all going well. The legend that St. Patrick drove snakes out of Ireland is a metaphor for converting pagans to Christianity. Pause. Oh, you see, I lost, my video's gone there. So let's see if I move my playhead back, that's where it ends. So then I can drag my snake video to match that. And then for converting pagans to Christianity. There we go. Nice. Let's do, let's see how much time we've got left. Yeah, we've got enough time. Let's go to the add media, add blank scene. Let's go. Which one are we going to do next? We've already done the Shamrock once. I like this Chicago River Turns Green one. I think that's cool. But I also thought this was good. The first parade in America, the earliest recorded St. Patrick's Day parade was held in 1601 in a Spanish colony, modern-day St. Augustine in Florida, not Ireland. So that was quite interesting. Original color was blue. Green came associated with the day during the Irish independence movement in the late 18th century. Previously, blue was linked to St. Patrick. But actually, do you know what? I'm going to do this one. Chicago River Turns Green. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because, if I go back here, if you go to add content, media, photos, and go to Chicago River Green, there are actually pictures, and I had never seen this before. This is blowing my mind. There are actually pictures of the river in Chicago actually completely green on St. Patrick's Day, which is amazing. I imagine quite a lot of teachers have probably been there. Would love to know. Set as background. Ooh. Now if I set it as background, I kind of want to make sure by double clicking on it that I've got as much green in there as possible, because that is the whole point. That's the whole point of this, is that we want to see the green. Very cool. So I've got my background photo in there. Let's go to add content. Oh, no, let's go to text. Add your text. I copied that Chicago River Turns Green thing. Put it there. If you want, in just the meantime, you can put a little white outline on it. Chunk it up so you can read it nicely. And then again, add content, media, videos, record yourself. Here we go. Since 1962, the city of Chicago has famously dyed its river green to mark the holiday. There we go. Save recording. So again, while it's uploading, I'm clicking crop, I'm clicking circle, I'm clicking done. I'm resizing. Maybe I'll put myself down in the bottom left this time. There we go. Nice. You can, if you're kind of not in the center of the frame, you can click it and then just kind of drag yourself into the center. Double click and drag. There we go. That's pretty nice. And then with this text here, I'm going to put my cursor next to green, drag down, get rid of all of that. Chicago River Turns Green. What am I going to do with this text? Do you know what? We've been doing generate text all along. So why wouldn't we do it again now? We're going to make it nice and big so it stands across the page. I'll put this one right in the center at the top. What am I going to do for my text effect here? Effect, pick the pencil, try describing a texture. I don't know, gold coins. There we go. I'll do that one. Generate. I mean, I suppose it's not green, is it? Could do clover. But I'll try this one and see where it goes. Oh, wow. That's really cool, actually. Look at that. Yeah, nice. Yeah, Chicago returns green, and we got gold coins to show how lucky it is. That's nice. I like that. Maybe I'll go back and edit and see whether the outline color of green would work. Yeah, why not? I think the darker green works better. And then let's give this a play to make sure that we don't have to do any trimming here as well. Since 1962, the city of Chicago has famously dyed its river green to mark the holiday. Nice. That works perfectly because it's a photo, of course. What was I thinking? That's why you don't have to trim it, because it's a photo. Now, if I click my video here, in fact, all of these videos, you can see that I'm in a very quiet room here. So I didn't have to use the enhanced speech. But if you're like, hey, I can still hear everyone in the background, I should have said this to you sooner, if I'm honest, then you're going to want to, even for your voiceover, you're going to want to enhance the speech. That one's already on. Okay, cool. First one, click your video, enhance speech. Second one, click your video, enhance speech. Third one, click your video, enhance speech. That will take all of that kind of background noise off of like people sitting next to you and stuff like that. That'll take it all off. So don't worry about that. Okay, let's have a little listen.
Key St. Patrick's Day facts. Born in Roman Britain, likely in Wales, he was kidnapped by Irish pirates at age 16 and brought to Ireland as a slave before escaping, only to return later as a missionary. The legend that St. Patrick drove snakes out of Ireland is a metaphor for converting pagans to Christianity. Since 1962, the city of Chicago has famously dyed its river green to mark the holiday.
Cool. Now, a couple of things that I noticed here. First of all, you're going to need to press the plus in between some of your scenes, add a transition, dip to black, dip to white. Not dip to white doesn't work, I don't think. Oh, yeah, slide. I like that. I'll do a slide. And then at the bottom, it says apply to all scenes. Do that. Keep it consistent. Nice. Okay. So that just means
Key St. Patrick's Day
What's the transition?
facts.
What's the transition for a slide?
Born in Roman Britain.
Nice. And the enhanced speeches work really well there. So I'm into that. Okay. What else have I got to do? I've got to go to add content, media, music. Ideas based on your file. Sometimes it gives you stuff and you're like, what on earth is that? But the key thing to understand here is that my video is 37 seconds long. All right, 37 seconds long. So any piece of music that I choose, you've got to make sure that it's longer than 30 seconds. If I search music and go Celtic, liking these a lot, actually. There's some new ones in here I've not seen before. Yeah, that's the one for me. Cool. Put it in there. Now, what you'll hear if I play it just randomly here.
In Wales, he was kidnapped by Irish pirates.
Can't hear me. Hey, it might be St. Patrick's Day, but right now in this video, I'm the main event. So I'm going to bring that volume down to about 15, something like that. I want it to fade out at the end so that it doesn't just kind of completely drop off a cliff, right? So let's get back to the start, see what it's like.
Key St. Patrick's Day facts. Born in Roman Britain, likely in Wales, he was kidnapped by Irish pirates at age 16 and brought...
Might actually still be a little bit too loud. I'm going to go for 12. Right, there we go. Nice. I like that. We've got our transitions in there. We've got our music in there. We've got everything we need. I'm trying to think if there's anything else at all that I would like to do to make this any better at all. I love that video background. Don't forget that's in effects. I went to view all and it shows marigold. This one, I felt like the video was kind of too busy. So you couldn't really put an effect on it and make it look cool. This one, Chicago River turns green. Yeah, I don't know whether this text effect is really working. I don't know whether the green outline color is really working. Maybe it's just better white. I think maybe that's true. Yeah, I mean, one thing you could do with that is animation. I would do a loop animation on this, I think, and maybe jitter. I'm trying to do that thing of like, well, I see, this could be like a, you know, like a sort of games machine or something flickering. Yeah, to say like, woo, coins. Let's try that. Why not? Stick it on. That's a bit of animation there. You can put animation any way you like. This background on here, do you know what? The generate text effects in here, snake skin green, and maybe I'll put vivid green and generate. Are you generating? No, you're not doing anything. Oh, you are generating down here, yes. Let's see what it gives. I suppose I just wanted to make it pop a little bit more. Yeah, that's better, innit? That's better. This is a deeper green, so I think that actually pops even better off the page. Yeah, that's the one I'm going to do. I'll leave that to load itself. Maybe go to edit and make the outline thickness a bit bigger while it does its effect. Come on, you can do it. There you go. It's coming through. Nice. No snakes in Ireland. Could even go to a glow as well. Oh, that makes it much more readable. Shadow color, white. No, the black shadow color was much better, actually. There we go. Perfect. There we go. We got a done deal. That is really nice. I'm going to go to the download button if you want that. I think maybe your school doesn't want you to do that because it'll take up loads and loads of space. But you can do 720 is plenty. Click download. Otherwise, click share. Add people like your teacher if that's how they want to get in the work. You can use a view-only link. You can send it to Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, whatever it is that you want. Okie dokie. That is a wrap. Well done, everyone. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I hope you have a great time. I hope you celebrate. You should be very, very proud of your nation. And we'll see you on the next one. Get yourself registered. All right. See you soon. Take care.